Yeah, like that. All right, ready? Okay, like that.
Wait, tilt it a little
All right,
bit.
fine. All right, you know that's not my good side. Oh yeah, luscious girl. Work it! Someone just ran by. I don't know who it was.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hey. Oh, we need to make, we're making food.
Yeah.
We're making food. Hi.
Hi, everyone. It's so weird to be on this side of this.
I know.
Curtain.
Right? After throwing insults at all our other fellow chefs this whole time, now we get to be insulted.
It's our turn.
Amazing.
The pressure is on.
So I'm Jason Wrobel. I'm a vegan chef. For those who I haven't had a chance to connect with, I would love to meet and connect with every single one of you before we leave. I've been working as a vegan chef for about 9 years now. I have a YouTube channel called The J-Ro Show with about 250 vegan recipes. And I also host a show on the cooking channel called How to Live to 100. And so I'm here to present to you guys a little inspiration. And I just want to give you a little tidbit about who I am and what I do.
And a lot of you were at my little session earlier today. Thank you so much for coming. That was so fun. I couldn't stop talking. There was so much to pack in. I didn't even feel like I scratched the surface of it. So you can see how passionate I am about healthy, organic, vegan food. And I realized I didn't introduce myself, and not all of you may be familiar with my work. I run a brand called Eco Vegan Gal, and I have a website and also a YouTube channel, as many of us do here. And I have, I think, about 700 or so videos, and I have multiple channels. So I have my main channel that has, I think we just reached 600, and then I have other channels with different subject matters and things on them, just because there's so much to cover. I have a channel just about my dog who's vegan. I have a channel about just kind of daily foods that I'm eating, and I have a very personal channel called My Uncensored Channel, where I talk about topics that aren't necessarily food or lifestyle related, but more just like what's going on throughout life. And I've been doing that since 2008. And as you saw, my passion is really about eco-friendly living and healthy living, and not just vegan, because I've realized over time that being vegan does not equal health, and being vegan does not equal being eco-friendly, and vice versa. So I like to find the intersection between all of that. And Jason and I have known each other for years, and when we got the opportunity to get on this cruise, they only had one spot left, so we thought, let's do it together. We do a lot of things like this together. We do videos together, and we're both passionate about the same subject, so we're going to bring that together for you all today.
Yeah, so the recipe today, which we're going to tell you in a second, all right? I know like 15 of you are like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to be for Halloween? What are you going to make? But that ruins the surprise.
Wait, right? How many people have Halloween costumes? All right.
Those of you who have not raised your hands, is that because you are what you're going to be now? Trying to guess.
We already know what Chris and John are going to be. They ruined the surprise.
We're going to go.
But I can't remember where I was going with this. Oh yes, philosophy-wise. So Whitney had mentioned we do a lot of projects together. For whatever reason, whenever she guests on my YouTube channel, it's painfully awkward. There's like a lot of dead air and me just going like...
Don't watch those, because he just dominates.
I do. I keep talking and I keep rambling and...
And then I'm standing there like, yeah.
And I'm tangential.
Like, I'm more like a Vanna White in his videos, like, oh, hey. So we're going to try to even that out. For some reason, when he's on my YouTube channel, it's completely different energy, and it balances out.
So we're on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so today is going to be the Eco Vegan Gal channel starring Jason, because otherwise, if it were the J-Ro channel starring Eco Vegan Gal,
it would be me dominating and making it awkward.
Yeah.
That won't happen today. But before we begin and share a little bit about the recipe, because I know we've got a little extra time, we're going to be doing some giveaways as well in the theme of giving.
And we're going to do it eco-vegan style, so it's all going to be digital. So we're going to pass this iPad around. Don't steal it. I know it's very tempting, but you get to enter in your email addresses, and you have the choice to add yourselves to both or one of our mailing lists, and then we're going to, at the end of this, give away some things. I'm going to give away a copy of my ebook that I mentioned in my talk today, so it's called Healthy Organic Vegan on a Budget, and Jason's going to give away...
I'm going to give away a digital copy of my DVD, Simple Vegan Classics. It's a 90-minute vegan cooking tutorial. And you know what I'm going to do? Because my t-shirts were supposed to be here, but they didn't make it. I'm going to throw in a free t-shirt.
Oh!
Yep.
And we both use the same t-shirt company. And it's really cool. My t-shirts are here in the back.
So soft.
They are very soft. They're really amazing. They're handmade by 2 vegans that live in Los Angeles, and they actually bring in the fabric. It's all organic fabric, and they hand make it in downtown LA. So no foreign. You know, a lot of t-shirts are made in China and all of that. So me being the eco-vegan that I am, all of the dyes are non-toxic and all of that. So they're very, very soft. They call this. Not gourmet fashion. That wouldn't.
It would be gourmet fashion.
It's like you know, completely handmade, one-of-a-kind shirts. And the ones that I have in the back there. That's it for now, and I'll be ordering more later. And I'm doing a special. So when you order when you buy a T-shirt here, I'm going to give you a special code that you can use after the ship. For those of you who don't win the book today, you'll get the book and the T-shirt for $40. It's actually about $55 if you bought them separately. All right. So let's pass this around. We're going to get started, and then we'll pick this up, and we'll announce the winner later on. By the way, so we're using this kind of like fancy system in here. There's an arrow at the bottom right. Just tap that to go, and you can enter in your info. Want to hand it out?
Thanks, Miyoko.
Cool.
All
Let's
right.
get started.
So here's what we're going to do. Today, we're going to be doing a recipe that I featured on the cooking show, How to Live to 100. It's actually the most downloaded. What's that?
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
I figured it out.
False alarm. So this was the most downloaded. This was, I guess, the most popular recipe from the cooking show. And it also serves a great purpose because it really highlights both of our overlapping nutritional and food philosophies, which is make things from scratch, make them nutritionally dense, make them easy and inexpensive.
Even when organic, this can be very
Even
inexpensive. I
fully
haven't
organic.
done the calculations yet because we don't have
But you-
internet, but I usually calculate the exact price per serving. And I would estimate this is still going to fall around $2 with organic ingredients per serving. So it's very inexpensive, as I talked about today. When you're using whole food ingredients like this and you're buying them at the right places, like the farmer's market, we have most of our ingredients are from the bulk section. So we've
Yes,
got a lot
they
of
are.
spices and seeds and legumes. So really, you're getting that from the bulk section, which you can get in person at a store or online. And then your fresh produce, whether you're growing it yourself, going to the farmer's market, doing a CSA, those are really wonderful ways to stretch your dollar. But most importantly, you're getting a great nutritional bang for your buck. One thing that I kind of touched upon today was how a lot of junk food, people are drawn to it because it's very high in calories, and so you can eat it and feel full and satisfied. But something like this, while it might not be that instant satisfaction, although it's very tasty, it's going to help you with your energy and give you all of that nutrients. We have so many different colors in here today and so many different types of food that it's going to last you throughout the day. So you're getting so much more bang for your buck nutritionally, which is what I'm always after with the food.
Right, so if you ever meet Mick Jagger and he's like, you know, still can't get no satisfaction. Then you can go, Mick, listen, you got to try these cauliflower lentil tacos. So today what we're going to do is cauliflower lentil tacos with a fresh guacamole. Are you ready? All right, so we're gonna jump in by prepping our cauliflower. Now, cauliflower is kind of like unofficially the vegetable of 2014. Last year was all about the kale, right? Everybody's like crazy for kale. Kale soup, kale smoothies, kale chips, kale chocolate. Everything's kale.
Yeah.
Well, this year, you're seeing cauliflower pop up everywhere. But like people who've been doing this a while, like, you know, y'all in the back, vegan chefs, it's like we've been using cauliflower for years. Everyone else now is just catching up, like, oh, this thing called cauliflower? And
Well, be honest. How many of you have not cooked with cauliflower? Raise your hand.
not.
Don't be shy. Wow, only a few of you.
Okay.
Hey, and one of the most exciting dishes, was this on your show too? You did the buffalo
cauliflower. Yeah.
He has a whole episode on that cooking channel show about cauliflower, and I think that was your most popular.
It was the most popular,
Episode.
yeah, for season 1, cauliflower was definitely the most popular. And the cool thing was, is I did my best to, you know, transform cauliflower into common, you know, comfort food dishes. So we did buffalo cauliflower with a ranch dipping sauce.
So
We did the
good.
cauliflower lentil
So
tacos.
good.
We did cauliflower popcorn. We did cauliflower
Yes.
bisque. I tried making a cauliflower flan. Tried is the operative word. That's still on the
Was
back.
there a dessert? Was there a cauliflower?
No,
dessert?
because at the 11th hour I had to abort that cauliflower flan. loved it, but
has anyone ever made mashed potatoes from cauliflower before? Yeah. So good.
Potatoes.
Oh, really wonderful. I forget, what are the nutritional benefits of cauliflower?
Well, nutritional benefits of cauliflower is it gives you turbosonic fart power. It does. I mean, you know.
You guys gotta be
cauliflower, it's great for your heart. If you eat too much, it just might make you fart.
Awkward.
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys do a little bit of exercise after you eat tonight to help your digestive system.
Exercise will not make you fart, really?
Honestly, if you walk around for 15 minutes after a meal, it helps you digest. So that plus some ginger tea if you can find it. That'll help you out. Or digestive enzymes. We love that. Does anybody take digestive enzymes? If you're not taking them and you're ever having trouble digesting, they are so helpful. You can get, our favorite brand is Enzymedica.
Yes.
But there's also Health Force Nutritionals makes a really good one. I'm forgetting, Sunbiotics. Sunbiotics is this really cool company that makes food, they make probiotic capsules, all organic, but they also make these snacks. They have almonds that have probiotics on them. So you can eat them as a snack. They're really good. They also have probiotic chocolate. And they're such a nice small company. You can buy them online and in some specialty stores.
Now, what I'm doing with the cauliflower, since I don't have a food processor, but that's okay, you can rock this in a blender. So we're going to throw this in the Vitamix. And what I want to do is make like cauliflower rice. I want to go for really small rice-sized granules of the cauliflower. And the cool thing is, and I'm just going to fudge it here because we like fudge. But the thing with cauliflower rice is for the raw food rice. Who does raw food? Who's into like vegan raw food, right? It's fresh, it's nutrient dense. The cool thing, if you don't want to do cooked rice, is you can actually make things like jicama rice or cauliflower rice in your raw food dishes, and it tastes really good, shockingly good. So I use cauliflower rice in some of my raw dishes, like my raw curries, and it works awesomely.
And we also have a cup of green, or it's green and brown lentils. They're all different colors for your lentils. That's actually a great tip too, to switch up the variety of your food, is to get different colors. You can actually get purple cauliflower.
Absolutely.
And green, they have green cauliflower,
yes,
like the really pretty, weird cone-shaped one.
Yes, they do.
Versions.
Broccoli.
Yes.
The hybrid broccoli.
Yep. Same what goes with your legumes. So people will often say, I'm going to get bored with my food, but if you switch up the colors, it's visually pleasing, and you get different nutrients and different flavors and textures. So we have a mixture here. This is 1 cup cooked lentils that we're going to add in.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You know, we are obviously into really focusing on the nutrition in food. I came into this, and I can talk about this during our meet and greet tomorrow, but you know, I had a lot of health problems in my family, and in my teenage years realized I had to do something different. So although I don't have a formal degree in nutrition, I have to say that now, neither one of us are doctors, we're not registered dietitians, we're not nurses, we're not healthcare professionals by any stretch. If you lay on the ground, we may not even pick you up because of the liability. Actually, we would. Anyway, the point is...
Which one are we going to use?
Oh, this one right here. Okay. So we advise a lot on nutrition just because we're into it and we research it. So one of the coolest things, just going back to, 2 tablespoons, please. Whitney talking about the nutritional aspects of this. Nature gives you clues. You know what I mean? Like, look at walnuts. What does a walnut look like? Brain, right? The favorite food of the zombies. So nature will give you clues based on the nutrient content in there. So you want to eat a variety of foods, eat the rainbow. You're getting all your phycocyanins, your anthocyanins, all your antioxidants. It's fun. We're kind of nutrition nerds, honestly.
We are.
We are.
So while he's doing that, I'm going to get the pan ready. Of course, you can do this step by step, but if you have someone else helping you out, that's always good. I actually recommend this too. It's so wonderful to cook with somebody else. It makes it go faster. It's more fun. You can spend some quality time together. So whether it's a friend, a family member, or a partner, whoever is around, a kid, bring them into the kitchen, and it makes the whole process fun, and then you get to enjoy the food. It's a whole new level to it.
And if you don't have anyone, what I highly recommend, even in today's digital age, is flyering around your city, just saying like, do you want to cook with a vegan? And just staple that. Just staple it to the telephone poles, and you'll get some calls from people you may not want to cook with. But
we're going to use some coconut oil. It's kind of our preference for cooking oil. You could technically use olive oil. It's a little bit more traditional, but coconut oil has a higher smoke point. This is organic, non-GMO coconut oil, and you can get these big tubs of it. The cool thing about coconut oil is you can use it for different things. People actually use it as a moisturizer, including myself. Just a little bit on your hands. And even after cooking, I just got some on here inadvertently, and it turns into a great moisturizer. You can make all sorts of products. You can use it on your hair. If you look up online, there's like probably 100 different ways to use coconut oil. So it works for two things. And a little bit goes a long way. I don't think we need 2 tablespoons. I like to start slowly with oil. This, I'm probably going to only need like a teaspoon or 2. And then you just spread it around. And we've talked a little, or some of the other demos have talked about the use of oil. I tend to not use a ton of oil because I like to save my oil consumption for when I eat out or when I have convenience food. When I cook at home, I often will use veggie broth. And that's really wonderful when you're working with onions and garlic and whatever you're sauteing up. Even some water can really work well. You just are using it to keep it from getting too dry.
Now, the thing about
where did our onions go?
Oh, right there. Yeah. So you can use white or red onions for this step in making our base of our taco meat, our TM. And the first thing that we want to do is really just sweat the onions and the jalapenos first. If you're adventurous, you could toss in a whole grip of seeds. Now, since I'm half Puerto Rican, I toss in a grip of seeds because that's how I was raised on really spicy food. So, optional jalapenos in. If you're a Rican, if you're not, you might want to leave them out. By the way, yesterday was the first, it was 2 days ago. 2 days ago was the first time I went back to the motherland. So rad, right? It was like a homecoming. It was like, yes, I've returned to claim you. I'm Inigo Montoya.
So you got the jalapeno ready. So we're going to put the jalapeno in with the onions as well.
What else was I going to say about this dish? If you want to stir this up and maybe lower the heat a little bit so we don't get any burnage, I'm going to rice the cauliflower. Rice, baby. Now, kids and adults alike. You okay? You're right, spicy. I know, girl.
Careful with that. The spice from the jalapeno will even come up and like.
This is how Latinos do their facials, right? You just stick your face over like a big hot thing of like hot peppers, and you're like, I don't even care.
Did you put the seeds in there
too?
A few. So, some people don't know this, but if you keep the seeds out of your jalapeno, when you take them out, when you open up the jalapeno and put them aside, your jalapeno will be less spicy. A lot of the spice from a jalapeno is in the seeds, so depending on what your preference is there. And, oh wait. How'd it work out? Did you mention about how you can use this instead of a food processor?
Yes.
So the Vitamix doubles as a food processor. You don't have to have both. It really helps when you have the tamper. And Jason's using the end of the spatula.
Now, if in a emergency situation,
that came out pretty well.
It's a little mashy. It's a little mashy. There's a fine line between rice and mash. So what I'm going to do is try and give this a second go. See how it does. Come on! Not only is it amazing vegan cuisine, it's also a forearm workout. And I think this forearm is actually getting more Popeye-esque. I've noticed. I'm like, wait, yeah, it is. This one's thicker. From Vitamixing, don't go there in your minds. I felt it. I could feel the psychic. I was like, no, this is a children's TV show. So when I do my Vitamixing, I'll be using Lefty. Anyway, moving on. So now that our cauliflower hath been riced-ish, now, you're going to get it into smaller granules than this. It's still a little bit on the chunky side, but for demo purposes, it's alright. It's alright. You'll get it.
Does anybody need some moisturizer? Come up, there's plenty here for you. Okay. Now we're going to add in the garlic too, yeah?
Yeah, do this garlic. I forgot to do the garlic. A lot of garlic, a little bit of garlic.
Some of the spices.
Of course, that's a stupid question with this crowd.
And this is going to be on the dinner menu today, right?
It is going to be on the dinner menu. We shall see if Mauricio and his staff have pulled this off. Hey, Curtis's dad. You've tried this before, right?
Yummy.
What do you think of it?
Yummy.
Yeah?
Make this at home. I love that.
And your dad too, right?
Yes, my dad. Dads love this.
That's the thing, is like this recipe is dad approved.
All right. So once we get this, and then we're going to add in half the spices.
Mash. The monster mash.
Any questions?
Graveyard smash.
You guys have your questions ramped up yet? Go ahead.
So when you make this at home, is the cauliflower usually that kind of blended, or is it more like separate, like a rice?
When you're using the benefit of a food processor or just a Vitamix that has the correct tamper in it, you'll be able to get more of the kind of crumbly texture.
Yeah, because of the unevenness of using the blender, the challenge is because your base is so small, things get compacted on the bottom, and so things generally get liquefied and they're more chunky on the top. The cool thing about the S blade on a food processor is you just get a more even consistency. So it will be a lot more rice-like if you use a food processor.
So your spices are here to mix in when you're ready for that.
Yeah. So you want to cook this down for about 5 minutes on medium, just making sure the garlic and the cauliflower is nice and integrated. And then what we're going to do is we are going to add a mixture of chili powder.
And the cool thing is with spices is you can add in whatever you like. So start off with what the recipe calls for, but again, keeping the variety there. Next time you make it, you could try different spices, and that'll totally change the flavor of it.
Yeah, so we've got 4 teaspoons of chili powder in there. We've got some red pepper flakes. I don't know, for some reason I like spanking things. Like I have this thing, she makes fun of me all the time actually. I'll take spices and I'll be like this, bad, bad.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I actually don't say bad, in my mind I say bad. So some chili flakes. We've got some cumin, cause it's booming.
A lot of people don't know this, but he was on The Soup.
4 times.
Have you seen that show, The Soup? What was on it?
Joel McHale.
Is that E Entertainment? He featured Jason on there 3 times, I thought.
No, it was 4.
4. And one time it was this clip from his TV show where he said,
I'm like, and next we're gonna use cumin, cause it's booming. And he pauses me right there. And he's like, yeah, that's the ringtone that they play in hell.
So
That was a good one, Joel.
You all have to make that your ringtone after this.
Yeah, if you want to after, I'll be happy to make any of my annoying catchphrases your ringtone for free.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got the paprika in there. We've got, chili powder. We've got red pepper flakes. A little bit of cayenne? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so a little tip on using things like cayenne or jalapeno or habanero or Trinidad scorpion pepper or ghost pepper, you get the idea, is if you're a chef, sometimes you're in the middle of a shift, right? And you're like, oh man, I really got to go to the bathroom. And you run to the bathroom and you forget to wash your hands before you go to the bathroom. So tip for all, especially the fellas.
Yeah.
For the love of God, please wash your hands after you handle cayenne or any hot peppers,
You can
because
get it in your eyes too. It's a nightmare. Yeah.
actually it hurts worse there than in the eyes. I've found. I've done
I
both.
wouldn't know.
Not intentionally, I swear. Okay, so
Now, notice also, how many of you measure when you're using things like spices? And how many of you just kind of put it in there, guess, play around with it, right? So whatever works for you, whatever your comfort level is, but I think it's really helpful to do what he's doing. Just you kind of eyeball it,
Yeah.
and you learn, and that helps make cooking so much easier, and you might feel more inclined to cook if you don't have to measure all the time. I think some people feel like they get a lot of tension when it comes to cooking, because it's like, oh, I have to find a recipe and I have to like read it. But the more that you practice and the more that you play around with the flavors and the textures and all of that, the easier it's going to get and the more fun it's going to be, so you'll probably be cooking more. And I talked about earlier how much money you can save. I mean, a dish like this at like Issa's restaurant, how much would you charge for a dish like this?
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't serve that. Oh, burn.
Ooh, girl.
Humor me. How much would you charge for a dish like this? Like this.
Say 2 tacos, 2 large cauliflower lentil-ish tacos. $12. See, that's pretty standard. I mean, if you go to like a really, really good vegan restaurant, that's about what you're going to pay for an entree these days.
But considering, again, I'm estimating here, I think that you could probably make this for about $2 at home. So you save $10. Now, I'm not trying to say don't go to Issa's restaurant.
Yeah, don't say
want
that.
to go there. But you can save up for your plane ticket to go to Omaha and have this amazing time at Issa's place by making more food at home rather than going out to eat all the time.
That's right.
And you really get to control. So if you're the type of person that doesn't want to use a lot of salt or sugar or oil, cooking at home lets you put exactly the ingredients in. Whereas when you go out to a restaurant, you don't know. You don't know exactly what they're putting in or how much. So this really helps all
So
around.
here's the deal, right? This is before we're adding our next 2 ingredients, which is going to be tomato sauce and our lentils. So you can see it already has kind of a malleable, almost like kind of ground beefy. I mean, it sounds so weird. Magical ground beefiness. Yes, magical ground beefiness is the only thing I can come up with. But it's got kind of that malleable, you know...
Taco meat.
Taco meat, yeah, it's kind of taco meat. But we need to hit the color and we need to bring the flavor up. But the consistency is pretty darn good. So what I want to do is add right around a cup of tomato sauce. That's tomato sauce. I'm just making sure. It could have been gazpacho. Yeah. If you want to get really like hoity, you could be like, oh, you do tomato sauce, well I add gazpacho to my cauliflower lentil meat. You'll impress some people, you will. There'll be a lot of food bloggers that are like, oh, how inventive. How avant-garde. I don't care about avant-garde, I care about making you say, oh Lord.
And notice how he's, you know, this is kind of a one-person job I was talking about. It's nice to have someone in...
Oh, that wasn't, oh.
No, I'm just
Sorry,
saying that it's easy. You don't have to have someone else in the kitchen. Another thing that's really helpful is to pre-chop, when you're doing a meal plan, which is really huge for saving you money and time, you can pre-cut up all your veggies. So maybe and pre-cook things. So plan meals that have multiple uses for lentils and multiple uses for your onions and your jalapeno. You can cut them all up and you can whip this up in just a matter of minutes. I mean, we're doing this all in real time. So it's really, really fast.
And it's a good way if you have children, to make them chop things. Mom and dad, just put them down and make them chop things.
Except they gotta learn some knife skills.
That's true, yeah, and that's the thing is like, yes, in all seriousness, it is a really fun thing to include the family, and you guys have been such an amazing inspiration because seeing a whole family unit becoming a vegan family, doing it together, that's the best part because everyone's learning recipes together, everyone's getting different skill sets, and you know, maybe I'm gonna rethink this baby thing after all. Anyway, sorry, inner monologue. Because I need someone to chop. Is that a bad reason to have a child? Like, you can chop!
That's such a random thing to say with no background.
I know, it's no background. I have this weird thing about not wanting kids, but now that I'm going through it in my mind, maybe I'm like, yeah, because then I can just make them clean the kitchen. I hate cleaning the kitchen. I love making the food, but inevitably at the end of the meal, I'm like, God, help me. Oh, yes, I will have a child and make them clean. All day. You will learn the value of hard work, Padawan. Anyway, back to the recipe. So, they're here, there's 60 people in front of me. So lentils. Lentils are one of the most inexpensive, protein-dense ingredients you can add. They're easy to digest, they taste great, they're very neutral, they go great in Mediterranean recipes, Latin recipes, love lentils, and they're part of your program about healthy organic eating on a budget because when we did that video last year, which we won by the way, which we won,
yes,
I just wanted to say that, we used a copious amount of lentils and garbanzo beans.
So for people who aren't familiar, I was talking about this earlier in the session where we actually did this whole video that's up on my YouTube channel where we and 2 of our friends challenged each other to see who could have the eat for a week with the least amount of money. So we actually were able to do it. I can't remember exactly how much we spent, but it was around $4 a day. And we ate a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all organic ingredients, all homemade. We had amazing food. If you watch the video, there's pictures of all the different meals, and a lot of them were legumes. I mean, they were a huge staple of the diet, along with rice and millet and quinoa and various types of pasta. And it was so easy and flavorful. And again, with dishes like this, they just make it exciting to eat inexpensively.
Indeed. Now, 2 things I want to mention. What's really going to get that nice ground beefy magic that we want, is mashing the lentils when they're in the saute pan, right? Because now they're whole lentils, which is fine. If you guys are into that mouthfeel, I'm not going to take that mouthfeel. You can get into whatever kinky things you want. But for me, I like really mashed up lentils. So you could take a potato masher, you could use a wooden spoon ideally, or a slotted spoon. But you want to go around as it's in the pan and just mash, do kind of like a rocking motion, like rock the boat, don't rock the boat, baby. We are on a boat, so this would be a natural movement. The other thing I want to mention is if you can use heirloom brown lentils or even black beluga lentils, you're going to get more of an authentic color here. This will work, it'll be good, the flavor will be good. But to get really that dark brown ground beef thing going on, I suggest using a darker lentil rather than a red. So the darker the better, baby.
And while he's finishing up that, I'm going to chop up the romaine. You could, if you have a food processor, you could actually use the little shred blade for it.
Now that would be cheating!
It wouldn't be cheating.
I know. I just like to be high. I'm sorry, that's my highbrow foodie.
Anything that saves you time is not cheating.
It's true.
So we're going to shred this up, and I already have the organic taco shells lined up here. If for some reason you're sensitive to corn, you don't want it, you could just put it actually in a leaf, any type of leaf. You could just put this on top of rice if you want it. Again, if you're changing things up and want a different mouthfeel, keep making this dish over and over again, change up what you put the food into.
Okay, so while Whitney is chopping the romaine, I'm gonna take this to the face right here. Take it to the facia, and try not to hit the Janet Jackson mics.
You definitely don't want to just serve something without tasting it. Is that a good face or a bad face?
PDG. Oh, sorry, they don't know that hashtag PDG. We have our own language. It's pretty darn good. PDG. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely spicy, but I like it. So this will definitely work. So let me turn it on low. Let me let it simmer a little bit more.
Okay, so while he's doing that, we're going to come bring the samples around.
Oh, nice. Samples of this? Oh, nice.
Don't let me down, Mauricio. Don't let me down.
It's just a little bit of the meat and just a little bit of the broth and a little bit of the corn pork dip we're going to try because it's just to, get the taste buds going. So there's the whole accoutrement at dinner. This is just merely just a sample.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna let this simmer down a little bit more to get the right consistency, mash it a little bit, and then we're gonna show you guys how to make a super simple guacamole.
What amazing tasting guacamole. Restaurant style.
Yeah, restaurant style, exactly. So that's looking pretty good. Now the thing is with the cauliflower, again, I think because the cauliflower got a little mashy, this is not exactly the correct texture. So you really want to pay attention when you're making that cauliflower rice that you're getting those nice even granules. Because this is a tiny bit more mashy than I might have liked, but it's close. It's close enough that it will work for your gustatory pleasures. Yeah, did they actually put them in tiny taco shells?
Okay.
Okay, that'll work.
How is it? You guys say everything is good.
Don't lie to me.
Yeah. Tell us the truth.
Tell us the truth.
Can we try a sample too? By the way, 2 things I wanted to mention. Another thing that's great about cooking is cleaning as you go. So if anything's sitting on the stove for a little while, you can start cleaning up, as I've been doing. What?
I don't do that.
That's right. When he cooks, his kitchen explodes. I mean, you walk in there and it's like...
It's a crime scene.
It really is.
Hence
How many people
this,
can relate to that? How many people, when they're done cooking...
Who's a crime scene? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I loved how you did that, but you were like this. You were like, I guess me too.
But even
it's okay,
if you just...
we're here together.
Even just rinsing something out, cleaning off your cutting board, rinsing off your knives, any little thing will help because obviously if you leave something for too long, it will stick and then it makes it really hard to take off. So
right.
I like to get in the practice of cleaning at least a little bit while I'm cooking. The other thing I wanted to mention is, as you know from, I believe, Issa's demo, the knives that we're using today are not extremely sharp, so this reminded me of the importance of having at least one good knife, a chef's knife. So a chef's knife will usually be somewhere between the size of these two.
6 to 7 inches.
It depends on your preference. But a lot of people don't realize that a sharp knife is actually safer than a dull knife. Because when you're cutting with a dull knife, it's really hard to get through to whatever you're cutting. And I was having a little bit of challenge cutting the romaine with this. So they're all different techniques, and I think that's one of the best things you can learn in terms of cooking or prepping food in general, is just to learn how to use a knife and get a really good knife, and it'll only take you a few minutes. There are videos online. You can take classes for free on this. Learning how to use a knife will, again, make the whole experience more successful.
Oh, thank you. If you guys, hey, if I did a knife skills video, would you guys watch it?
Yeah!
As long as it wasn't boring, like, hello, I'm Jason Andrew Wrobel. I'll be teaching you basic knife skills today. Actually, that might be weird, cool, if I was like a cyborg.
Yeah, I think you should do it that way.
All right, let's take it to the face, yeah?
Did the iPad make its way around the room? Did anyone steal it yet? Oh, good.
We gave away the iPad.
Hold on, trying.
Oh yeah, we have to do this without crunching into the mic. Now let's try it compared to this.
Yeah. Because I feel like they underspiced it. Because mine is going to hurt you a little bit, you know? It's going to make it hurt.
So, for guacamole, do you guys prefer your guacamole to be really smooth and creamy, or do you like it kind of chunky? Who likes chunky guacamole? Oh, most of you.
Yeah, you like that chunky guac.
We better make let's make a chunky version.
I'm excited.
And then you guys could use some of the romaine and scoop it out. You guys can come up and have some fresh guacamole.
Have you guys seen the it's like a meme online about avocados, and you know, have you heard it? It's like this. It's like, wait for it, too late.
When they're a little too ripe. There's also one of the image of one avocado saying to the other, "But you're a good fat." Is that what the picture is like on Instagram?
Yeah.
And the one's like crying. He's like, "I bet you're a good fat."
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, Whitney and I, we don't really get into. Unfortunately, what I think is maybe a symptom of, I don't know, the vegan debate is like, you've got so many sub-segments of the vegan thing, like the raw foodists and the junk foodists and the 80-10-10ers and the fruitarians and the SOS. And it's interesting to notice, especially on YouTube, how many people will like stake a claim like, this is the only way to eat, you must eat this way. And we're like, you know what? You gotta just tune into your body. I mean, for you guys, would you agree it's constant experimentation, right? It's like feeling what your body's expressing when you eat it. It's a constant refinement. And for me, I eat pretty markedly different than I did when I first became vegan in early '98. I mean, if I think about when I was eating in '98 in Detroit, the only vegan in Detroit ever.
So that's why people
in the
say,
90s.
I live in an area where there's no vegan food. And Jason's mom is vegan. Your mom's like 60, living in Detroit proper, eating.
Vegan in Detroit for 17 years. Yeah. So when I hear people say like, I need bacon, I can't be vegan. Listen, dude, my mom's in Detroit, okay? In Detroit, and she's been doing it 17 years. So if you want to do something, you're gonna figure out a way to do it.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like, excuses to me are not valid. I'm kind of like, you know, the Susan Powter, the like, what was her thing, Susan Powter's thing? Remember Susan? Stop being sad. It's true, like if you want to do something, you're going to figure out a way to do it, so. All right, now avocados, or, little trivia for you guys, aguacate, which is derived from the original Mesoamerican word, ahuacatl, which was actually testicle. No, it was. If you look at the actual direct original word, it was testicle. So, all the great B vitamins are actually awesome for male reproduction. How interesting. So thank you for that.
Yes, you're better with the jalapeno.
Ahuacatl can be preserved in many ways. One, leave the pit in. After you make your guac, if you've got leftover guac, make sure you leave the pit in. I don't know scientifically why this does it, but if you stick the pit in the middle of your guac, it keeps it fresher longer. Also, if you add a citrus, an acid, lime juice, lemon juice also helps to preserve your guac. The third way, if you guys are cutting sensitive fruits and vegetables like apples, like avocados, things that brown quickly, if you use a ceramic knife, which you can buy for 40 bucks, use that and things will actually oxidize less quickly. So what I have in my arsenal is I have like my bad Mama Jamma regular steel knives, but I've got two really great ceramic knives that I use for those sensitive fruits. So let's add a little bit of lime juice here.
Yeah, lime tastes so much better than lemon. And
nicely done, Whitney.
So big chunks. You guys wanted a chunky. So we're gonna make big chunks of onion. Yeah. How many of you compost your scraps? A few of you. So I want to tell a few quick tips about composting. So whenever I cook, I always have like a little cup or something on the side, and I put all my scraps over here. And you can actually, there's so many different ways to compost. You can get a special compost bin, or you can make your own. Or you can often, it depends on your city, you can put them in your yard waste bin. So you have to check to make sure, but those are usually the green bins. And yep.
We actually have like a community compost, like
A
in
community
downtown,
compost.
you can drop
Yep.
your stuff, yeah.
There are even places that will accept your compost, and they can use it in their gardening. So we were talking earlier about gardening, and you can make your own veganic soil from your compost. So just put it aside. You can get a little compost bin for your counter. You can get a big one out on your deck. And I like to actually put my compost in my freezer, and I have a big, just a cardboard box. I put all my compost in there in the freezer, and then I'll bring that whole box out to my yard waste bin and dump it. So there's so many different ways. It can be super easy, and it's much better for the environment than tossing it out. I was telling people who were at the session earlier that Americans waste on average at least 17% of their food goes to waste. So another thing in my book is talking about what to do with scraps. You can actually use a lot of your trimmings from, let's say pieces of jalapeno or your stems and things. You can make broth with it. You can use it to make various sauces. So before you throw something out, think about where it's going to go next so you don't waste your money and you get every last little penny.
Oh, by the way, as an aside, the true test of how sharp a knife is, well, yeah, you can do the fingernail trick, that's fine, but it's cutting tomatoes.
Yeah.
And if you have an unsharp knife, the tomato will tell you right away. It'll be like, nope, you better go sharpen up, because I ain't gonna take that. So, yeah, tomatoes will let you know. They do not hold back. They're like, I ain't going out with you tonight. You need to be a sharp-dressed knife. Every girl crazy about a sharp knife. Yeah, so what I'm thinking about doing for my next TV show, FYI, is doing like, okay, no one can say this. Because if it comes out, I'm going to have to kill that person, and that wouldn't be good. Because then but then I could do a vegan cooking show from prison, which would be a first. That'd be pretty dope. Anyway, it's like Pee-wee's Playhouse meets Bill Nye the Science Guy meets hair metal. In a laboratory with stuffed animals coming out of the ceiling. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's the next TV show.
That's what he wanted the first TV show to be, and they said no.
And they were like, it's a little acid trippy. It's a little, like kind of psychedelic. Okay.
Does anyone do anything really interesting with guacamole? Like put in a strange ingredient that's not traditional to it? Isa, what do you do?
You smoke them?
Yeah, we smoke
Dope.
Yes.
Do you cold smoke?
No, we use stovehouse smoker with avocado chips.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I love putting chipotle powder in it too. Speaking of smoky, that's so good in guacamole. Anyone else? Yeah.
Lavender.
Lavender? No way, that's brilliant.
Lavender?
Yeah, they did this restaurant I went to.
Wow. Anyone else?
Wow.
See, that's the other, again, I keep saying this, but I just want to remind you, like, playing around with your recipes, like, try something crazy in it. See what happens. You might come up with something that's just going to bring a whole new level and whole new flavor to it, and it just makes it so much more exciting when you eat.
Tamarind.
What's that?
Tamarind.
Tamarind?
Tamarind.
Ooh.
Ooh, I like the salt. See
And
what?
by the way, salt, okay? One of our favorite culinary things ever, and this is a great tip for you. How many of you have ever used truffle salt or truffle oil? Oh, for those of you who haven't raised your hand, you can now get truffle salt and oil all over the place. Even
Trader Joe's.
Home Goods,
Trader Joe's has
like random places now carry it. It depends on the quality. So if it's really inexpensive, it's probably not the highest quality, or maybe there's not much truffle in it. It depends on what you want, but investing in it sometimes can be maybe like, I don't know, $15, $20 for like a small container, but it goes such a long way. So instead of using a ton of it for a little bit amount of money, you can invest in the high quality. All you need is a tiny sprinkle of it, and it will take your food to the next level.
Yeah.
So truffle oil or truffle salt.
Now
Either one.
another secret ingredient on that tip that Whitney brought up, which is these little secret things you can add to really pump up the flavor of simple recipes. One little addition that just really brings out the full spectrum of flavor. Truffle salt's one. The other that I'm really into right now is pumpkin seed oil.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet Lord.
Yes. Raise himself.
So, the thing with pumpkin seed oil, right, is you have this gorgeous dark green chlorophyll content, which is awesome because anything that has dark green pigment, your kales, your dark green leafies, your pumpkin seeds, that chlorophyll actually helps to build red blood cells. Super healthy for you. And the flavor, if you drizzle that over like a coconut cashew ice cream, oh God, you just like, you need to lock yourself in the house the rest of the night. You cannot go out because you just be like, You might get taken into the, anyway, I have stories about that. You can ask that during the meet and greet. I have jail stories. I've got to ask me about my tattoos, punk rock band, ways I've been arrested for
that
food.
reminds me too. Remember that?
About when I got arrested, you got to bail me out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other story I was going to tell is we went to San Francisco. There's an ice cream shop for anyone from the Bay Area called
Yes,
Buy Right.
tell this story.
Buy Right. You've been to Buy Right, right, Miyoko? They have one vegan flavor. It's made from coconut, and it's like a chocolate something else, like a chocolate coconut or something like that. Amazing. One of the best vegan ice creams I've ever had. But they did something really cool. They gave you an option when you went inside to put your toppings on. Tell them what the option was.
Okay, ready? All right. They gave you this bergamot oil. It was bergamot and orange. And you would not believe...
Well, is bergamot orange? It's
Yeah, am I being redundant? I'm not being... No, it was it was bergamot and it was orange. And this oil, so they drizzled the oil on top and then they just put like...
oil, like cooking oil.
And then they
ice
put
cream.
some Maldon salt, like the big chunky salt, and it was, oh my God, you would never have expected that combination.
So sometimes savory and sweet go really well together. Anyone else think of another combination that works really well? Savory and sweet together? Miyoko, Isa?
John,
No?
Chris, Ryan, somebody.
Spicy and spicy.
Spicy and spicy, yeah. Like, give us an example, Mr. Manowitz.
He's like, I can't.
He's like, I don't know.
No, but it's amazing. So we actually went and bought that oil immediately after we had the ice cream. And
You're on a 5-minute countdown.
Is that chunky enough?
we're almost done.
Chunky guac. All right, so we definitely have chunky guac in the house. And by the way, I know I was kind of speeding through. What I added to it was diced red onion, chopped tomatoes. I added some pumpkin seeds, some sea salt mixed with pepper, a little cilantro. And the cool thing about cilantro, if I might go back into scientist mode, is if you're trying to detox from heavy metals, cilantro is an amazing chelator, along with your blue-green algae, your spirulina, your chlorella. And what a chelator does, if you have mercury issues, heavy metals, if you are into getting your blood tested like I am because I'm a geek, is it actually helps to pull the heavy metals from your tissues so you can flush it out.
Tell them why you got your blood tested, though. That's a really good story.
Oh boy, here we
No, it really
I'm going to
is.
be getting a lot of questions about this in the Q&A.
And yeah, we're doing the meet and greet Q&A. When is that?
Tomorrow.
So we don't have a ton of time for questions today, but we'll have more.
Okay,
next.
so the deal was, if I may be blunt with you guys, because I can, because we're family, right? We're all friends now. Okay, so I've been having some pretty serious depression issues to the point where I realized I had to do something. And in order to really get to the bottom of these things, it was like, okay, maybe there's something nutritionally going on with me. So I found a holistic MD who did a whole gamut of blood tests, and I can get into more detail with this obviously tomorrow with you guys, but I had every possible panel done of, you know, my fluid samples, blood work, urinalysis, the whole gamut, saliva. And what I found is I was critically deficient in a lot of neurotransmitters and some really key vitamins. And I've been vegan for, I'm going on 17 years now. So it was a real eye-opener. And since I've been supplementing with these things, these vegan supplements, I felt so much better. So the thing is, for years I was like, oh, I eat enough chia and hemp and flax and cauliflower and blah, blah, blah. But unless you get an actual blood test, unless you get your fluids tested, you're just kind of throwing darts at a dartboard. It's like, oh yeah, I eat a ton of omegas, I eat a ton of this, I eat a ton of that. What I found through my blood test, and again I'll get into more detail, is that my body was not assimilating certain nutrients. I was consuming those nutrients in high quantities, but my body wasn't assimilating them. And I actually found out that there was something with my genetics that I could not uptake certain nutrients. It's weird, it was totally crazy.
So what works for one person may not work for another.
Exactly.
You know, that's luckily in most cases one of the only nutrients that we need to add to our diet is B12, right? I'm sure many of you have heard that, right? And vitamin D, of course, making sure you get enough sunshine. You might need to take a supplement depending on where you live.
Vitamin K2.
But, you know, people say that all the time, you just need B12. And I think that's true for the majority, but there are definitely certain people. We talked about the incidence of people going back. They go vegan, they become, what do they call, ex-vegans, right? But a lot of times it's because they don't know what their body needs, because they're not going to the doctor. They're making assumptions about their diet based on what other people say, and both of us have had so much experience with that not being the case, and really needing to know what is happening within your body. So bio-individuality is so important. So get the blood test done. With all the money you can save by eating clean, you know, all these budget tips that I've been giving, you can save up for your blood tests and get one blood test every few years and find out what's going on with you to make sure that you can feel and even look your best, right? Because it's going to differ. I mean, we hear diet tips all the time, and what works for someone might not work for the other. We hear all these different tips about what to do and how to get energy, but then I'll hear people say, I tried that and that's not working. Why am I not losing weight? I heard this earlier today. Someone said, you know, he lost all this weight earlier, but I'm eating the exact same way and not losing weight. There's something going on differently for each of us. So finding out what it is for you is so important. I know we have to wrap up, so if I can get the iPad, we can pick the winners. We have Issa's meet and greet now, right?
Yes, we do. And that's spelled M-E-E-T. Sorry, that's a bad one. So guys, I know we have to wrap up now. We've got
guacamole, we've got tacos. Come and fight over them.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. We'll see you, shut up, come and eat.
So we'll put out the guacamole.
Share, please share.
Dip right in.
No sharing.
Another one for me was
Yeah, sure.
so my omega-6 plant foods is out today.
Oh my god.